Okay, let's go over the practice final exam. So the first problem, we are multiplying the two numbers 22 and 42 together. So first you have to line them up vertically. Then 2 times 2 gives you 4. 2 times 2 gives you 4 again. Now the second row, move to the left by 1 place. 4 times 2 gives you 8. 4 times 2 gives you 8. And then sum them up together. So 4, 8 plus 4 is 12. So write 2, carry 1 over. 8 plus 1 gives you 9. So the final answer is 924. The second question, if 6 gallons of fertilizer are needed for each acre of land, so for each acre there are 6 gallons. Now find the number of acres that can be fertilized with 1122 gallons of fertilizer. So remember, each acre is 6 gallons. So now they give you this much gallons and they ask you for how many acres. We need to divide this number by 6, right? Because 6 for each acre. So this whole gallon divided by 6 give you the number of acres needed. So if we do the long division, 1122 divided by 6. Now 6 go to 11 by 1 time, because 6 times 1 is 6. 6 times 2 is 12. 12 is bigger than 11. So we cannot take 2. We only take 1. So 6 times 1 is 6. 11 minus 6 gives you 5. Bring down the 2. Then 52. How many times 6 go to 52? It's 8 times. 8 times 6 is 48. Then 52 minus 48 gives you 4. Bring down the last digits, which is 2. And then 6 go to 42 7 times. And then 7 times 6, 42. Subtract them equals 0. So there are 187 acres. Now, this third question, write the fraction in the lowest term, 42 over 49. So if you want to write a fraction in the lowest term, you have to divide both the numerator and the denominator by a common factor. In this case, 7 is a common factor of 42 and 49, because 42 and 49 are both dividing by 7. 42 divided by 7 gives you 6. 49 divided by 7 gives you 7. 6 over 7, and you cannot simplify this fraction furthermore because there is no other common factor between these two numbers. Okay, divide and simplify. So remember, when we are dividing a fraction by another fraction, we are just multiplying the second factor, the second fraction, and flip the numerator and denominator for each other. So the first fraction, I keep them the same. The division, I turn that into the multiplication, and then I flip the second fraction, 7 over 36. Now you have the multiplication, which is easy. You can just multiply across 6 times 7 and 5 times 36. But before we do the multiplication, we can also reduce the fraction. There's a 6 on the top, there's 36 at the bottom. So we can divide by 6 on the top, which is give you 1, and divide by 6 on the bottom, which give you 6. Because 6 is a common factor, we can divide them. Now this is much easier to multiply them. 1 multiplied with 7 gives you 7. 5 times 6 give you 30. Okay, subtract the following fraction and then simplify the answer. We have 5 over 8. Subtract 1 over 20. So before we do the subtraction, we must find the common denominator of the bottom parts here, 8 and 20. So the least common denominator is 40, because 40 can divide by 8 and 40 can divide by 20, right? We cannot take 20 as the least common factor because 20 cannot divide by 8. So we have to multiply another factor by 20, which is 2, is 40. Now 40 can divide both by 20 and then 8. We take 40 as the least common denominator, or LCD. Okay, so in order to make the bottom part become 40 for the first fraction, we need to multiply 8 by 5 to get to 40, and we multiply the same thing to the top. The second fraction, we need to multiply 20 by 2 to get to 40, and then do the same thing for the top. Now 5 times 5, 25, 5 times 8, 40, 1 times 2 is 2, 20 times 2 is 40. Now they have the same bottom parts, right? We can keep the bottom parts and then subtract the top together. 25 minus 2, which is 23 over 40, and this is the final answer. And there is no common factor between 23 and 40, so we cannot reduce them to lower fraction. Now we're trying to find the square root of a fraction. So whenever you see the square root of a fraction, we can always split them up first. So take the square root of the top and the square root of the bottom parts. Square root of 16 is 4, because 4 times 4 gives you 16. Square root of 49 is 7, because 7 times 7 is 49. So the answer is 4 over 7. And 4 over 7 is the simplest version of the fraction, because we cannot reduce them further. Alright, let's go to the next problem. This one, they are asking us to list the digits that has the given place value for the number below, 257.609. Remember, the decimal point here, the one to the right of that is the 10th place and the 100th, and then so on. The one to the left of the decimal point is the ones, tens, then 100, and then 1000, and so on. Now, part A, the digits in the ones place, the one with the S, that means the digits in the on the left of the decimal point, which is 7. The digits in the tens place, the 10 with a TH is the one on the right side of the decimal point. The decimal point is here, the one on the right side is 6, so this is 6. The digits in the tens place, the tens with the S is the second place to the left of the decimal point. In this case, 7, 5. So 5 is the second place to the left side of the decimal point. Okay. Now divide a decimal by a decimal. Okay. So before we do the division of a decimal by a decimal, it's easier to convert them to a whole number. Okay, so let's convert the bottom parts to the whole number. So 0.006, we need to move 1, 2, 3 places to get to 6. Okay, so we need to move to the right by 3 places to get to the 6, which is a whole number. Then we need to move the same thing to the top. So 1, 2, 3. So we need to add 2 more 0, which is 1900. So this whole thing can become 1900 divided by 6. And then if you do that long division here, 6 go to 19 by 3, give you 18, because 6 times 3 is 18. Then 19 subtract 18, 1, bring down the next 0. 6 go to 10 by 1, 6 times 1 is 6, 10 minus 6 is 4. Then bring down the next 0, 40. 6 times 6 is 36, and 40 minus 36 is 4. Then this is that at the end there's a decimal point. Then there's nothing left. You bring down the next 0, which is 40 again. So we have to write 6 times 6 is 40. 6 times 6 is 46. 36, and then 40 minus 36 is 4. Bring down the next 0 again. We got 40 again. So we are seeing that the pattern is keep repeating 40 and 40. That means we are keep adding 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6 forever. So if we round this answer, it's gonna be 316.66 or 316.67 for 2 digit places. Okay. Now the next question. Write this decimal point as a fraction. So if we want to write this decimal point as a fraction, we need to move the decimal point all the way to the right. So the decimal point here, we move 1 time, 2 times to get to the whole number of 2. If we move 2 times, we have to divide by 1 and with 2 0. If we move 3 times, we have 2 divided by 1 and then 3 more 0. But now we only move 2 times. 2 divided by 1 with 2 0, which is 2 over 100. But this one is not the simplest version. We need to simplify this. 2 and 100 has the common factor of 2. So divide both 2 on the top and the bottom parts. 2 divided by 2 gives you 1. 100 divided by 2 gives you 50. So the final answer is 1 over 50. Okay, so the question 10, arrange from smallest to largest. Okay, we have this 4 number. We have decimal, decimal, fraction, fraction. How do we compare which one is smaller, which one is larger? The only thing we can do is we have to convert them to the same format, which is maybe decimal, in order to see which one is the smallest, which one is the largest. So we already have the decimal point here. The second one is also decimal point. But 1/2 and 3/5 are not decimal. We need to convert them to decimal. 1/2 is 0.5 and 3/5 is 0.6. Now we have what? 0.48, 0.6003 and 0.5, 0.6. Which one is the smallest? Of course, 0.48 is the smallest. So we write that down. Then 0.5 is the next one because we have 0.6 here and 6. That means 0.5 is the next largest of 0.48. So 0.5 is the next one. But 0.5 is what? It's 1/2 from this problem. So 1/2 is the next one. Then 0.6 is the next to the last, which is 3/5. And then the largest is 0.6003. 0.6 is less than 0.6003 because this has another value after the 6. So this is the largest. But you have to write the original number for 0.5 and 0.6, which is 1/2 and 3/5. Alright, find a sum. So remember, the order of operation says that we have to do the calculation inside the brackets or parentheses before anything else. So we have 2 brackets. Let's get a stop inside them first. -7 plus another -7. So -7, imagine you are owning someone $7. Now you add to another $7. That means you are owning them another $7. So adding them together should be -14. And then 8, positive 8 plus 4 minus 5, the same thing as 8 minus 5 gives you 3. -14, then you owe someone -$14. Then you pay $3. That means we are getting closer to 0, or we are getting to -11. So -14 plus 3 is -11. So remember, do the stop inside the brackets or parentheses first before addition, subtraction. Find the quotient. The quotient is meaning for the division. -36 divided by 6 is just -6, right? Because -6 times 6 gives you -36. So just do the division of this problem. Now solve the equation. If you want to solve the equation, you want to eliminate x on one side and then the number to the other side. Now on the right side, we only want x on the right side. That means we want to move the 15 away from the right side. In order to move plus 15, we have to minus them, right? And if you minus 15 on the right side, you must do the same thing to the left side. So 15 is gone. Minus 15 minus 9 gives you -24. Okay. Next question. Simplify by combining the like term. Okay. And you want to write your answer in the with the variable in the alphabetical orders. Now we have p and q. So let's combine the like term together. First, take a look at the p term first. 13p and then minus 8p. So 13 minus 8 give you 5p. And then for q, this is 4q, this is q. So 4q and 1q is 5q. So 5p plus 5q is the final answer. Very easy. Okay. This problem asking us for solving for x. And remember, whenever we have two fractions equal to each other and we have three values, we are missing one value, we always can use something called a cross multiply to solve for x. So x, let's do the cross multiply. X times 50 is 50, equal to 25 times 10 is 250. Okay, so cross x and 50 give you 50. 10 and 25 multiply together and then putting the equal sign in between. Now in order to solve for x, you have to divide 50 on the left side and the same thing to the right side. So this 50 gone, give you x. 250 divided 50 gives you 5. So the answer is 5. X equals 5. 16. Use a proportions to set up a problem but do not solve. So 19 is what percent of 175? Remember, just translate that sentence to a mathematical expression directly. So 19, we write 19. Is it equal? What percent? Remember, percent that means per 100. And what we can call something with what with a variable x. So x is what? Percent, that means dividing by 100. So what percent is x over 100? Of is multiplication and 175. Okay. Then we don't want the 175 to stay alone on the right side. So dividing them on the right side give you this proportion setup. Okay. So similar question. 144 employees is 6% of what number of employees? So 144, you write that 144 again. Is equal 6%. Percent is per 100. So 6 over 100. Of is multiplication. What number is x? Now you are solving for x. In order to solve for x, we are multiplying by 100 over 6 to cancel that on the right side, and multiplying them to the left side as well. 100 over 6 multiply 144, and that should give you 2400. Okay. 18. During a sale, a dress decreased in price from 60 to 57. What was the percent of decrease? Now, in order to solve for the percent decrease or the percent changing, we take the absolute value of the old value minus the new value, divide by the new value, and multiply by 100%. So the old value is 60, the new one is 57, and the new one 57. 60 minus 57, 3 divided by 57 multiplied by 100% gives you 5.26%. If you do that correctly on the calculator. Simplify the expression. Now we need to take care of stuff inside the parentheses first. So 2 multiplied with s gives you 2s. 2 multiplied with minus 3t gives you minus 60, and then add the 3 on the front, in the front. And we cannot simplify them because they don't have any like term. Okay, solve the equation. Now, before we do anything, we have to get rid of the parentheses here. So let's multiply minus 1 here to 2x and 4. So minus 2x and minus 4, and bring down 3x here. 3x minus 2x give you x, 1x, and minus 4, just bring it down again. And to solve for x, plus 4 on both sides. So the left side now only has x, the right side is 4, so x equals 4. Solve the formula for the indicated variable. So we are trying to solve for a. In order to solve for a, we want to eliminate 2b and 4c on the right side. So minus 2b and 4c on the right side. Do the same thing to the left side to solve for a. So on the left side we have p minus 2b minus 4c. On the right side now it only has a, which is what we want. 22. Solve for minus 2x less than 4. In order to solve for x, we have to divide by minus 2 on both sides to get rid of minus 2. If we divide by a negative number next to the side here, we switch it to the left. So 4 divided by minus 2 gives you minus 2, and then switch the side. Alright, let's do 23. Find the intercept for the left equation. Okay, so we are given an equation. We're going to find the intercept. So there are two types of intercept, x-intercept and y-intercept. In order to find x-intercept, we let y equal to 0, then we solve for x. And then in order to find y-intercept, we let x, the opposite, equal to 0, and then we solve for y. Now, x-intercept, we let y equal to 0. We solve for x. Then plug in y equal to 0 to this equation. 5x minus 0, because y now is 0, equal to 15. Or 5x equal to 15. Then divide both sides by 5. So for x, which is 3 for x. Now 3 is x, 0 is y. So 3 and 0, 3 comma 0 is your x-intercept. Now in order to solve for y-intercept, let's x equal to 0 and then plug into this equation. 5 times x is 5 times 0 is 0. Minus 3y equal to 15, which is minus 3y equal to 15. Now solve for y, divide both sides by minus 3. So minus 3 is gone. Y equal to 15 divided by minus 3 is minus 5. So your y-intercept is what? X is 0, y, which is 5, which is minus 5. So 0 comma minus 5 is the y-intercept. So this is your x-intercept and this is your y-intercept. Question 24. Find the slope of the line to the following pair of points using a slope formula. So remember the slope formula. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So I'm given the two order pairs. So I name that x1, y1 for the first one and x2, y2 for the second one. Just plug in directly. y2 minus 10 minus y1 is 12. And then x2 minus x1 directly from here. Minus 10 minus 12 gives you minus 22. Minus 3 minus and minus become plus. So minus 3 plus 2 gives you minus 1. And 2 minus, when you divide them, it's become positive 22. Find the equation of a line containing the given order pair. So we are given again two order pairs. We're going to find the equation. Remember, the formula for the equation is y minus y1. M is the slope, x minus x1. So we name the first one x1, y1, the second one x2, y2. So first find the m or the slope, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So take the number from here, plug in here. 5 minus 4, y2 minus y1 is 1. 6 minus 2 is 4. Now 1, 4 is the slope. So rewrite this equation using the value here. y1 is 4, so y minus 4. M is 1, 4. X minus x1, which is 2. Now we can multiply 1, 4 to the parentheses here. So 1, 4 times x. 1, 4 times minus 2 give you minus 1 half. And then in order to solve for y, we add 4 on both sides. So when 4 add to the right side, give me 7 over 2. So this is the slope-intercept format. Okay. 26. We want to graph the line when we are given the point and the slope. So first, let's find the point 3, 1. 3 is for x, 1 is for y. So go 3 units to the right. Go up by 1 for y. So 3, 1 is this point. Now the slope 4 over 3. Remember the slope is what? The slope equal to the rise over the run. So 4, we are going up from this point 4 units. Then we run to the right by 3 units, which is this point. So we have the second point, connect them together, we have a line. Use the slope and the y-intercept if possible to graph the lines. Hold the equation is y equal 4x minus 3. So remember, we need to identify the slope first. The slope is the one that in front of the x term, which is 4. And 4 can be written as 4 over 1, which is rise over run. So we have minus 3 for the y-intercept. So plot minus 3 on the y-axis first, and then go up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then go to the right by 1, which is this point, and connect them together. Okay, 28. Evaluate the function fx equal 4x plus 7 as the following value. So 9, f of 9 is now in the place of x. So just plug in 9 to x whenever you see x here. So 4x, plug in 9 and plus 7. 9 times 4 gives you 36, plus 7 gives you 33. 43. Now x plus 3. So whenever you see x plus 3, whenever you see x here, plug in this whole thing. So this whole thing now is in the place of the x in the original function. So 4x plus 7, this is for x only. Now x plus 3, that means take the whole thing, plug in for x. So 4 and then x plus 3 and plus 7. So 4 multiplied to this factor is 4x, and then 4 times 3 is 12, and then plus 7. 12 and 7 give you 19, so 4x plus 19, simplify that together. Now, minus x, so whenever you see x here, just plug in minus x. So f of minus x is just what? 4 times x, but x now is minus x, and then plus 7. 4 times minus x gives you minus 4x, and plus 7. Alright, so subtract the two polynomials together. In order to subtract the two polynomials together, first, let's multiply this minus 1 inside the parentheses first. So write out the first one again. Minus to this one give you minus. Minus and plus give you minus 7x. Minus and plus also give you minus 3. Now, combine the like term. 4x cubed. We don't have any like term for this one, so keep it the same. X squared and x squared here. Minus 4 and minus 7 give you minus 11x squared. 8x and minus 7x give you only 1x or plus x, and then minus 3. This should be minus 3, not 8. This is a typo. Okay. 30. Use the rule of exponents to simplify the expression. Remember, 4 and then exponent to another 3. The rule is just multiply the two numbers together. So 4 times 3 is 12. Then 5 times 5 is 25. Now, when you multiply the two x together, if they have the same base x, we can add the exponent together. So x to the 12 plus 25. And 12 plus 25 give you 37. So x to the 37 is the final answer. 31. Multiply the two factors together. So we take the first one. 3x multiplied with 4x give you 12x squared. 3x multiplied with minus 9x give you minus 27x. Then 9 minus 9x minus times 4x give you minus 36x. Minus 9 times minus 9 is 81. Then combine the x squared. There's no x squared, so we write that here. X and x, we can combine these two numbers together. So minus 27 minus 36 give you minus 63x, and then keep the 81 by themselves. So this whole thing is the final answer. Okay, 32 and 33. Write the equation in the format of ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, where a is bigger than 0, if necessary. Then identify the value for A, B, and C, but do not solve the equation. So first, we need the right hand side equal to 0 in order to match with this equation. So let's move 7x and 12 to the left side. So minus 7x and minus 12 on the right side give you 0. So on the left side, we do the same thing. 6x squared minus 7x and minus 12. So this one is exactly the same as this one. Whatever in front of x squared term is a, which is 6. Whatever in front of the x term is b, which is minus 7. And a single number is just c, or minus 12. So just graph them directly from this equation. You have a, b, and then c. Okay, the last problem, quadratic equation. So use the quadratic formula to solve the equation here, and you can use a calculator to give solution correct to the nearest 100 place. The first thing before we apply the quadratic formula, make sure the right hand side is 0. So you have to bring the minus 2 or subtract them on both sides to get 0 on the right side. If you do that, on the left side you're gonna have minus 2, and then the right side becomes 0 now. The second thing is you have to identify A, B, and C as in the last question. Remember, A is a coefficient in front of the x squared term, which is nothing here, or 1. B is the coefficient in front of the x term, or 7 here, and C is just a single number, which is minus 2. Remember, for quadratic equation, there are two formulas, x1 and x2. x1 is minus b plus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. x2, very similar to x1. The difference here is the plus sign before the square root become the minus sign before the square root. Okay, so now because we already have a, b, and c, and we can plug them directly to the form here to get x1 and x2. So minus b is minus 7 because b is 7, plus square root of b squared, 7 squared is 49, minus 4 times a times c, 4 times a, which is 1, c is minus 2. So minus 4 times 1 times minus 2, 2 minus times each other give you plus sign. So minus 4 times 1 is minus 4, minus 4 times minus 2 give you 8, 8 plus 49, which is 57, square root of 57, and then minus 7 on in the front, and 2a is 2 times 1, 2 times 1 is 2, so divide by 2. Okay, so if you do that using a calculator, you get a 0.27. And similarly, we're gonna find x2, which is just change the plus sign here into the minus sign. So instead of having minus 7 plus square root of 57, we are having minus 7 minus square root of 57, yeah, so the plus side here is not a minus sign, and then divide by 2. So if you plug in this to the calculator, it will give you the value of minus 7.27. We round them up to 2 decimal places because we want the number to be the nearest 100. So two solutions are 0.27 for x1, x2 is minus 7.27. So this type question is very easy as long as you identify A, B, C when you translate, when you convert the equation to this format, which has the 0 on the right hand side. Then using A, B, and C, plug in them to this formula. So you have to know these two formulas for x1 and x2. Once you know x1 and x2, you can plug them A, B, C to here to solve for the two numbers. Alright, so that is the end of the solution for the final practice.